Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see, and you'll hit like, subscribe, and I would love to know what you like to stitch. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you also for pressing play. I am so grateful that you take the time to hang out with me whenever you get the chance. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it, and I love to know what you're stitching as well. I think it'll be a surprise to nobody that I am wearing my Basgiath War College sweatshirt, or one of them. This is the lighter of the two sweatshirts I have, and as you know, I usually get warm as it is, so we're going to try to get through this without completely overheating. But I think you knew it had to be done. I had to wear something fourth wing this week, and we'll talk about that at the very end. So if you're only here for stitching, you don't have to worry about that. Alrighty, so I have a lot of projects to talk to you about today. This past week, we are still working through Bringo, which is part of the Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge group on Facebook. And then this past weekend was the Whip Frenzy event from Whip Warriors, which is a closed Facebook group, and they will open again in November of 2025. So I have quite a few projects to show you this week, and I'm super excited. I do have a start and a finish that I will, I think well, the way I've worked it out, it's going to be the very last thing you see, but I don't think that will be a surprise to anyone either. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know what that is already. Before I get going with my projects, I do just want to give a reminder. We are currently in the middle of an artist trading card ATC swap, and you have a little bit more time to stitch, create, and send it out. February 1st is actually a Saturday, so our loose deadline is February 3rd. If you could get it shipped out then, that would be great. The weather has been affecting everybody in some way, shape, or form, so if it's a little bit late, no worries. That's why I give the entire month, and if we have to wait on one or two with the first week of March or something, that's fine. So if you can get it sent out hopefully within the first week of February, that would be fantastic. It becomes my favorite month when they start coming in. So I've already gotten a few, but they start to really come in a little bit more once we hit the deadline date. You'll notice you haven't seen a lot from me yet, but I have some ideas brewing. And of course, I'm kind of lucky that because I ship them all out, I have the month of February too. So, but things are working in the brain. So hopefully I'll get some of those started, finished, and fully finished to show you in the next few weeks. Alrighty, so let's get going. I am not going to show the Whip Frenzy projects in any sort of order. This isn't like the riff off where you have to connect them. This was pretty much just pick as many projects as you can and stitch between 100 and 200 stitches on them. I was able to complete 12 projects in the time frame that I did. I also double dipped those with the Bringo event from a different group. So that helped, kind of work on multiple things. I mean, why not, right? Different groups, why not get the challenges work together? And I will show you the Bringo things after I'm doing the non-Bringo first. Some of these might have been for I Spy. There's one definite one. I've got 2 I Spy prompts. Well, I finished one last night, but you won't see that stitch until next week because I figured, I don't know if it's 16 or 17, but that was enough. And then I have one more prompt, which is winter weather. I think because it's been so cold, I don't want to assign anything. I don't know. I might have stitched on something that would have been that related to winter weather, but I'll just do that this week. Hopefully we're supposed to warm up a teeny tiny bit, and by warm up I mean maybe 40 degrees, so I'll take it. All right, so let's get going. Let's start first with my project that is my rotational project that I rotate every 4 weeks, and let me see if I can find the picture for you. Excuse me, I don't know if it's allergies, if it's dust from being inside this time of year, but earlier this week my allergies were very bad. I'm a little bit better now, but as usual, still a bit snuffly. Alrighty, so this is Spring Quaker, and it is from Lila's Studio, and I have changed the colors. If you're new, if you've been around, you know this, but I went with greens to signify new growth of spring rather than the browns. The center basket, I may very well use the called for browns, but I haven't gotten there yet. So let me, oh, sorry. I just hit my notes, which probably just shook you a little bit. Alrighty. I gotta move over a little bit here. There we go. That's as a distance what it looks like. So look at that. I am getting close to finishing the frame. I'm so excited. This is 18 count rose hips from Under the Sea Fabrics. And I concentrated right here in this section. So I know 500 stitches. Yep, 500 stitches. I was doing a lot of the greenery, and then I said, oh, I want to add a little bit of color. Now you'll see those look slightly different. I did change this color from the called for, and I used those in a couple different places, but I decided I wanted these slightly different. And I just pulled out, because, you know, I have these, I might as well use them in places. I pulled out rose petals from Stitchy Stuff Co. And I put those in, and there's a few more flowers there. So actually there's one big flower here, and I think, oh, that's it. So just the big flower here, and that'll be all the flowers there. And then underneath, once I get the greenery done, there's the two bunnies. So the next time I pick it up, I probably will focus on this again. There's probably actually more than 500 stitches still left in that block. And then I will work my way this way. And then I think there's a few things. Like, I know this bunny needs his carrot, and they both need eyes because there's a bunny here too. But actually, for the most part, once I get this element and this Quaker done and the few little pieces, then it's a matter of the center. And I do have to finish the inside border. I don't have that done yet. But when you see this again, unless it comes out for a challenge, it won't come out again until, you know, 4 weeks from now, the end of February. But I will work on this, I bet you, again, because I really did enjoy that. This was a little bit of extra counting, but that's fine. I did change the colors of the bunnies from the called for as well, just to kind of have them show up a little bit better on the fabric. So that's Spring Quaker. I still think if I'm going to, odds are, possibly get one done. I am all lopsided here. If I'm getting one done, it will most likely be summer of the two. And I've told myself spring is out, and then I'm curious if winter will come out in the market in March, because she showed a sneak peek a couple months ago on Instagram of her stitching it, or somebody stitching it. But I'm not starting either one of those until I have one of the others finished. And I guess if winter's going to come out most likely before I get either summer or spring finished. So I'll make the decision then which one I want to start. I think I do want to stitch all four, but with the alternate words on the autumn one. So that's just going to take some time. A few more years. It's been a few years. It'll be a few more years before all four are finished. All right, next. This next one, I am hoping for a finish this year, actually, on it. And I really think I can. And, oh, there it is. Sometimes you look right at it and you can't even see it. This one is Librarian's House, and it is from Stone Street Stitch. And I started this, I think it was September of 2023, with Beth the Steadfast Stitcher. We hashtagged it Librarian Sampler Sal. And actually, let me write down. I have a pen that I'm going to leave here after last week's debacle. I'm going to write down Beth's name so I know to link her. Any floss tubers that I talk about, I will also link down below in the section that says floss tubers mentioned. All right, so let me show you what mine looks like. Again, I changed quite a few of the colors on this one. I actually don't do these really big changes that often, but it just so happens that these two came back to back. I changed the border color to a deeper blue. I'm changing the entire house to replicate the Noah Webster house. I said Mark Twain last time. Forgive me on that. But Noah Webster house in West Hartford, Connecticut. I added blues, which were not part of the original plan. The birds are a different color. Some of the greens are different. So quite a bit of it is actually different. The red flowers, and it's the same color with the hearts, I did keep because I really like that. And I really like it that against this Darling David. So it's 18 count Darling David from those missing stitches. And I thought these colors really looked nice on this. And yeah, so this border, I actually didn't end up, I was going to do a couple hearts, but I didn't end up doing any. There's one big giant element right here. And so once those flowers are done, and you can see here, these two are both changed colors from the original. Once this section is done, the only thing I have left, and this, is the border. So I really do need to start getting some of those hearts done. And then you can see up top, you see how there's those green? I think what I can do with those is I can carry them though through each heart. Maybe not from heart to heart, but through each heart. So it shouldn't be too bad as opposed to stopping and starting with each 3 section. So there's more here than anticipated, and part of it's going to be a border, which will be a bit of a slog there at the end. But I really like this one a lot. I think it's not too tall to be in the scrapbook. I'm super excited to have that one in the scrapbook. So yeah, that's what it looks like. And just plugging along. And I do have to figure out, I haven't gone back and looked at the picture of the Noah Webster house because I don't know what color door the house has. So I can't decide the color of that until I figure out what door it has. Okay, next. And a lot of these were just, I would flip through. When I was doing Whip Frenzy, I don't always have a plan. Obviously, I'm doing maybe the pieces that are part of Bringo and like Spring Quaker, because it was part of my rotation. But literally, I have all of my projects in a couple different baskets, kind of like this kind of fabric basket, and then another basket that I was sent. And I just flip. I just really just flip and say, what do I feel like stitching on? And of the 2 baskets, one has stuff that might be themed for prompts or challenges of the week or the season, if I want to do something seasonal. And then the other one has, you know, all the other things, which a lot of times I go to that one too. And I say, you know what, let's see what's in there, and not just do, because sometimes the ones in the to possibly do this week are ones that you see a lot. And I like to make sure I get as many of my projects touched as possible. I am guilty though of having favorites and stitching them more often. But this one right here is Wings of Change by Silver Creek Samplers. And I did start this with several different people, many of who have finished it. And we used the hashtag Butterfly Wings Sal, if you'd like to check it out. I have seen the flower be changed to purples, and it's beautiful. And I'm just plugging along. I think this time around I was thinking about doing some more of the butterfly, but I believe it was starting to get a little bit dark. It was later afternoon or evening, and I have trouble seeing paper patterns as it starts to get dusky and dark, kind of, even with lights overhead on. So I usually will pull out my my pattern keeper patterns, or I have a couple on markup, something that I can do that way digital, because it's just too much for me to see otherwise. So there was going to be a lot of black counting. That's where I was going with this. I did some more words, and then I started a little bit of a leaf, because these leaves are small, but then there's a giant one right here. But the words are always a good thing to do if I want to get a little bit of stitching in. I do have a slight mistake in the T's, and so I have to do the E. I haven't done it yet. I have to kind of chart it just a tiny bit, because that's the little swish of the R. And so I just have to figure out, I have it in my notes, I think, what I need to do. So I think I've got it. Maybe next time, if I sit down with this and I have the mental capacity to fix that, maybe I'll just do it. I think these are all set already, so I don't have to worry about going off of these. But I'm not sure I will trust counting off of the word butterfly after this. I may start just doing those instead. This is 18 count, what is this? Bell Bottom Blues by Hand Dyed by Rolanda. And if you recall at the beginning, when I just had a portion of the flower, I was a little worried, but as all of the colors have come in, I'm really pleased with my choice. I really like how these colors look against the blue. So that's that one. Alrighty. So let me get this one put away. And, okay. What's next? Okay, let's do a full coverage, actually. I have two that I worked on this week. I think both of which, let me just look at my Whip Frenzy in my, I always try to bring my challenge notebook. This is my notebook that I will work all my challenges in for each month. And I'm sure, yeah, both full coverages ended up getting time during Whip Frenzy. All right, so which one is this one? It's this one. Because this month is Dragon Month for me, my focus, my daily full coverage piece has been The Love We Share. It is charted by Stitches So Beautiful, and the artwork is by Serr, Quill. And this kind of reminded me of Violet from Fourth Wing. And what's really kind of interesting is this dragon has some iridescent colors to it. And I'm not going to say why that's interesting. I didn't necessarily know that when I started this. Why it would be interesting. Oh, gosh. Sorry. The way I've got everything listed, I think I'm hitting my notes a little bit much. So here it is as a whole. We're still at the top. But if you know why iridescent and a dragon means something, you know. That's where I am. And I actually did, I'm just going to go fold and then move over. I did a little bit of everything. Now I have, what's today, the 24th. So I have one more week of stitching this, and I try to give it 100 stitches a day. So this section right here, we're still filling in. Probably that's the least section I did. I kind of came over here a little bit more, and then I really tried to start getting some of these. That section is kind of like where the sunlight is between where the girl and her dragon are, or not the sunlight, but kind of just bright light. So that's that section right there, and then this is the top of the dragon. So I did some over here, but I really did try to focus this week. These colors are not as much fun, so I did really try to work on those a little bit. So this is 18 count white Aida, 2 strands over 1, full cross, which is how I work my full coverages. So this one you will see this one more time. Even if if it gets work on the 31st, I won't show it to you the following week, because that would only be one day's work in 100, and you really wouldn't see much on a full coverage for that. But you will see it at least next week one more time. Never to say it's not going to come out for challenges and things as well. I am devastated. The year of the snake is actually, I want to say January 29th. I'm really bummed because there's a project coming up that I was really hoping to get the dragon part done before the changeover to Year of the Snake, and I thought I had into February, but this year I don't, so I'm not sure I'm gonna make it. This one here, Halloween Quaker, this is one I literally just said, I'm just flipping through, let's pull something. And this is from the Heart, Needleart by Wendy. And there we are. This is done on an 18 count Monster Mash from Color and Cotton. I really like that color. I think, I'm looking at my notes, I thought I changed more than I did, but I'm not sure I actually changed anything in the end, to be honest with you. I have a bunch of different kind of pumpkin-y colored variegated flosses, so I might just for the pumpkin pull something out and then just keep everything else as called for. But I worked on, this was a Whip Frenzy thing, so you need between 100 and 200 stitches. I did a lot of the letters, and then you can see I started, there's an element right here, that's this element. I had the same color, so I started with that, but the letters were a good way to get my stitches in. And I think from here up I might be done at this point, so I'm almost halfway done with the piece. I think my plan for this year is to finish it. I think that should be fine. I think that's easy enough. especially if I do the Dark 13 where I do Halloween pieces on the 13th of each month. This one easily will come out a couple times for that as well, and that should give it some more time. All right, so the next one is my Blessing Sampler. This is Blessing Sampler 2025, and it is from the Camping Stitcher. And if you recall, I am not stitching the top or the bottom letters, and I'm this border here that's kind of, I want to say checkerboard, but it's sort of checkerboardish. I'm actually going to bring this border up here and have the finish. And I haven't done the swoopy part yet, but you'll see what I mean. This one is going to need some stitching every day. I mean, we are on the 24th now. I have 7 days. I'm not concerned I'm not going to get it finished. I mean, I'm really pleased with my progress here. As you can see, that's where it's going to end up. So it's not super tall. This is, I've only got the swishy part here on this one. I wanted to do the outer border, and then I'm just doing all of that. I think that'll be really easy to do, but I wanted to bring this down. And what's brilliant is the way it has been charted by Camping Stitcher. I didn't have to fudge anything. I just made this line straight, and then was able to do it. It's set up perfectly that you actually don't have to add any lines or do anything extra and finagle it. So that was perfect. This is 18 count orange Pekoe from Under the Sea Fabrics, and I'm using Eggplant, which is a hand-dyed floss from Stitchy Stuff Co. And I've gotten all of the little pieces. The only thing I need to do is put the letter O there for my last name's initial. And I definitely, you could see I was working away right here. I've got all the words "May our home," but I wanted to turn this corner. So then I just worked down this way, just doing letters so that I have it set. And the letters are pretty easy to do. Actually, at this point, it's letters, border, and the letter O. So yeah, I'm really confident that this will be a finish by the time you see it next week. Yay! I am currently at, because I have a finish this week to show you, I'm at 3 finishes this year. So I'm really pleased with that. So this one is obviously planned to be a finish. And then on the 25th of each month, I do want to try to work on some of those Shannon Christine ornaments that I had gotten in the Christmas 2024 little pack, and they're small. So hopefully those can be finishes too. So we're plugging along nicely. All right, next, this one, again, we're still in Whip Frenzy for the most part. This is Lighthouse from Cottage Garden Samplings. I completely blanked out. It's part of their Fabulous House series. And there was a stitch along that I kind of just jumped aboard on. Is the hashtag Let Your Lighthouse Shine stitch along. And that's where I am. So because I wanted to do a focus of something for my Whip Frenzy, I worked on this guy right here. So there's one little set of like 3 stitches underneath this part of his beak. But except then for his legs, he's done, which is really fun. I think I even have his eye all done. So, and what's fun is once I get his legs, then there's the chance to do some of this whale, which I think I might do and jump on and do before I come over this way. We'll see. So that's fun. And I do like the ship over here too. But yeah, really, really fun to stitch on this one. This is 18 count Compelling Conscious from Under the Sea Fabrics. No, it's not. Excuse me, not Under the Sea. This is Those Missing Stitches. Sorry, Lynn. Isn't it beautiful? 18 count Compelling Conscious. I really like this one for my beachy pieces. I think I have it for something else as well. I just really like Lynn's fabrics, so I use them where I can. And this one will come out. This is a good one for challenges because there's bits and pieces. So say you need to do 100 and 200. You can find a block to do 100 to 200, especially look at when I get to the Lighthouse and things like that. So this one is really, really nice for that. Those are all the flosses. It gives me a chance to, isn't this pretty too? Isn't that nice? It gives me a chance to do a block and get the challenge completed. And you get a chance to see, like, because if you have to do before or after pictures on some of the challenges, it's a distinct, I can see exactly where you did so that I get credit for the challenge. All right, let's do our second full coverage piece. So let's take that one out. And I'm trying to think, I think I started, yep, I started this one before that. Because it's still Dragon Month, I decided to pull out my other Dragon full coverage for the second half of the month. So I am, this week was a little thrown into kind of craziness because I was reading and reading and reading nonstop almost. And so my stitches of the daily stitches didn't quite get as much as I'd hoped. I was hoping for about 100 stitches a day for the last 2 weeks of January on this one. This one is Mini Until the End. It is a retired piece, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Rose Kahn. Rose Kahn has moved on to other cross-stitch charters, people who chart. So at some point, maybe this comes back. I really don't know. I don't know how all of the contracts work on that. But I just thought this was a lot of fun to stitch. So, and I love the colors, and I'm nowhere near the dragons yet, but I'm super excited to get to the dragons. What I felt like now and what I plan on doing is giving it, I haven't counted so much, I haven't counted how many stitches I have so far. I have another week, but I'm going to keep it going until I have 1,500 stitches or the end of the month, whichever one. I will go to the end of the month with it. If I have not reached 1,500 stitches, I will go into February. If I have, then I will put it away. And 1 month, it'll be its own focus month. So let me show you. That's where I am with it. And I, for the most part, have been working at the top. So I'm trying to get more of the top section done in different places. So I did try to start to fill in over here. I don't think I came over here at all. But then the last time I worked on it, I want to get to something with a dragon potentially. I don't know if I'll get there before the 1,500 or the end of the month. So I started to work on this and to bring this down because somewhere, probably right around here, we start to get to the very tip of a dragon. I thought that would be exciting to at least put some of that color in because I love these colors. I'm not tired of them at all, but it's just fun to add another little something in, right? And then if I feel like stitching just over here on this, and I want to say that this looks similar to this. Maybe not complete mirror to it, but there's blocks of color. So if I feel like doing that, that would be great. And then I am sure, I haven't really looked into the dragons yet. I'm sure there's a lot more confetti here. So if I feel like kind of working away at plugging away at that, then I can do. But having all of those sections ready, I thought about coming down and rounding that third corner, but I'm enjoying up here that I don't think I'm going to do that on this one. I do for a lot of them, unless they're huge. And this one isn't. This is that's the fabric right there at the bottom. So, if I give myself a 3-inch margin, which I usually do, right? You're talking maybe there. So it's not too far down. 18 count white aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross again. And so you will also see this one next week because this one needs work as well as the other one on a daily basis. But I'm interested to see. I had the very first day I pulled this out, I don't remember. I think I had 250 on it because I think it was the only thing I worked on that night to just try to get some in. And so I really got some good progress on it. Now, why is my cover sheet? Where is my cover sheet? I do not, for some reason, have the cover sheet with this one. That's weird. I wonder when I was ironing if I put it somewhere, if it's over there. Oh, well. We're just going to have to pretend, Do I? No, I don't think I have a picture of it. I'm trying to have pictures of all of my pieces in a row of from start to finish so that whip parades will get really easy to do because I'll have everything. But I'm not sure this one's picture ever got taken. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, well. All right. Let's just imagine. This is Sunflower Medley from Jan Hicks Creates. And this is done on an 18 count Arial from Picture This Plus. I worked on, I got, there, the greenery here was just about down here. So I brought all this swoop over. I did the letters. I did this entire flower and then the inside of this flower and just working my way down. I know these still have to get done. I was in the mood for flower and it's really pretty, this piece. I really enjoy it quite a bit. Obviously, we've got more alphabet letters and more flowers and swishes of greenery and stuff. The words are done. I just have to do a few more. Oh, I'm looking down like I can see the pattern. I think, I'm not going to show you, but I have the actual pattern. Okay, yeah, so there's 2 more just single diamonds right there. And then it'll be filling all those in too. So I really love this one a lot. This one came out in August last year during the marketplace, and I started it in September because I enjoyed it so much. I've learned my lesson more and more that I don't necessarily need to pre-order because I'm not starting something as soon as I get it from the markets. And it's not like you can only get it during pre-order time. But this was one of the few that I got it and started it pretty much right away. Because the marketplace would have been the end of August, so I wouldn't have gotten it until September probably. So I'm curious to see if there's anything that I say to myself, I absolutely positively have to have for market this time around pre-order. But, you know, the more you learn about yourself and the more you do this, you kind of realize you don't necessarily need to do the pre-orders unless you start things right away. Then absolutely go for it. But I don't, or I haven't seemed to. And this one here is not in the list I thought it was in. So let me see. Yeah, here we go. Alrighty. So this one actually I did as part of my I Spy prompt. This is the last one you'll see before we get to Bringo. This is Cinderella, and it is from Lina Ova Designs. And we do have a hashtag Lina Ova Sal. So any of the Lina Ovas you want. She's quite a few different types of these types of patterns. And I am stitching the entire thing on this one. Some of them I am choosing not to stitch the border, but this one I am doing the entire thing. It's not a huge border in comparison to, say, like Mary Poppins. Me taking that border out saved me, because think of that border, but like double at least. And that it's huge. This one's not too bad. And with the flowers, it kind of goes with the flowers up here. So I thought it was kind of fun. So the I Spy prompt that I'm working for, so I can't remember, there's some time, I think it's the end of January, is opposite day. So you'll notice not all of my I Spy prompts, maybe they don't always make sense, but I look at different fun things that happen to do with some of the months, and then I try to translate that to a prompt for cross stitch. Some of the stuff has nothing to do necessarily with the specific month, but some I really do try to, or I try to take a holiday and find something that would work towards a prompt that would be loosely related to whatever. And this one, I asked people to do opposites. Now, whether it was an opposite something within your pattern, you could have done like opposite colors on a color wheel, or, you know, night and day, or hot and cold, or whatever might be on your pattern, because especially if it was something that had more than one season. I decided to do, or you could do 2 pieces. And in the end, that's what I decided to do rather than trying to find something within one piece. So I'm doing Cinderella and I'm doing Black Roses. And the reason why I'm doing Black Roses is because that reminds me of Maleficent. So we have Cinderella, who is, you know, the princess and the, you know, the kind of the quote unquote good character, and Maleficent, the quote unquote evil character. So good and evil kind of thing. So that's how it's working. And it's another good reason to pick up Black Roses. And I'll show you that next week. I'm so excited. So there we are. This is, and if you're asking me, if you're looking at this and this is the first time you've seen it, yes, I know the borders are. When I first worked on this, we discussed this. And I also discussed why I have such crazy stitch there of up here and down here and so on and so forth. This is 18 count. It's an unknown fabric, which is what's really unfortunate, because I probably would have bought a bigger piece if I'd known where to buy another piece from. Isn't it nice though? It's gorgeous. And it was really kind of the blue I wanted, and I'm just going with it. And I can't remember, what floss am I doing? I'm doing DMC 3325. which in hindsight, I could have looked to see if they had a flourish for 3325, but I forgot. I also could have done sulky, I suppose. So anyway, moving on. That's where I am. I focused a lot now. I'm trying to work on doing the flowers in the border. They're actually really nice because they are blocks. There's leaves and then, let me see here. Yeah, so there's leaves, then a flower, then leaves and a flower. But they're all different block parts of it. So that will be really nice to stitch. Like, that would be good. And it's also on Pattern Keeper. So I don't have to sit there and like try to see a paper pattern. That'd be great for Zoom. It's great for night stitching. It's great when I don't want to have to count too crazy much. So this one will be a lot of fun to bring out. I already have the 4 pieces: Spring Quaker, Summer Quaker, Mary Poppins, and Fish and Chips. And those are, it really works well 4 weeks, every 4 weeks, changing them out and doing 500 stitches on them. So I didn't really want to mess with that rotation because I started Black Roses this year and this Cinderella. So I think what I might do for now is try to find challenges for them. So for example, this one came out already for I Spy. Black Roses will come out for I Spy. Every month with Warriors has at the very beginning of the month like a focus weekend. And for, I think it's 4 days, and you put in however number of stitches you want on a specific piece for 4 days. I won't work on it exclusively for those 4 days, but I think what I'll do is I'll rotate each month. In January, I did Black Roses. So in February, I'll probably use this for the focus event, and maybe I'll just go back and forth. And hopefully over that weekend, I can try to get, you know, those 4 days, well, at least 500 stitches. 1,000 might be tough, but if I could, that would be fantastic. And that would kind of cover if it was in a rotation. And we'll see. And when one of the pieces, Fish and Chips will probably be finished first out of all of them, of those 4. When one of those gets finished, either Black Roses or Cinderella will slide right into that rotation. Kind of depends, I suppose, on where I am at that point. Maybe if one of them is farther along, I might put that one in because then it might be quicker to a finish. We'll see. But with I Spy, I just have, that's my I Spy right there. And I just have to fill in something related to winter. And then obviously finish. I started Black Roses last night, but again, I'm not going to show you because enough projects. Get the rest of that done. Okay, Magazine Monthly. Now we're moving on to that. This one right here. This one, I'm never really good at this prompt. They did it last year too. This is Arabesque from Jen Hicks Creates. And the prompt was to roll a die and work on however motifs. I don't know if it was finish or work on. It's my board, so I'm making it my rules. I just worked on a motif as opposed to finishing one. And I decided to come on over here because I would like to kind of get that finished and then start to work my way down on this one. I did not get very far on this. In fact, I still have the needle in it. Looks like there's fluff. I bet you I had to pull out. I probably had to frog. This is probably why I put it down. I miscounted, but let me show you where I am. This is an 18 count unknown again. I have a few pieces that are unlabeled, and it just turned out that they happen to be all at the same time when I'm showing you. I have one more actually to show you that's an unknown later on. And I'm using, what am I using? I don't know if the label is in here. It should be. I'm using Stitchy Stuff Co. I want to say Elven Wine. Oh, here we go. Elven Wine. Yep. And so that's where I am. And this giant piece is right where I'm focusing on now. We're getting ready to do the swoosh of this last element. And so I would say it's probably going to go to about here. And that's how wide it'll be. Oh, I matched my sweater today. My sweater's kind of Elven Wine. So we're almost there. And I think that'll be fun then to just work my way down on this piece rather than across from the bottom. So, and I'm not, ouch, I just stabbed myself with the needle. That's why you don't put needles in them. I haven't finished the end yet. There's this giant motif at the bottom. So we're working on it. But yeah, I think this obviously I had a mistake, so I had to frog, and I think at that point I just put it aside. I do like it. This one was also came out last year from Jan Hicks. I don't necessarily think, though, it was a market release. I don't think. I think it just came out. Unless it was the spring market, but I didn't start it until like June or something or other. I don't remember. Okay, so the next day the prompt was something monochromatic, and so I pulled out Spring Awakens. I'm getting close. I mean, I'm not there yet, but I'm getting close. I should find a challenge that could give me some good stitching on this one. This is Summer House Stitchworks. And here I am. This is 18 count. It's Hush Pink, as you can tell by the nope. They also have Barely Lime there. I think I had ordered Barely Lime in the same order, but the Hush Pink is over here. This is from Dove Stitch. And I'm using DMC Floche, Floche, if you're looking for it, $3.19. And I know you can get it in 1-2-3 stitch. And I think you can get it on Etsy, and I know you can get it on Amazon, but watch the prices. Amazon prices are ridiculous, and you will overpay in some cases, not everybody, but just be careful on that. So I am just plugging along here. I think I focused on the border. I don't necessarily remember if I did some of the letters too. I think I might have done some letter and then border. I have to look back on my... With this Whip Frenzy, you do have to show a before and after picture, and it is like a code word before picture, so this way they know you haven't started it before like you haven't stitched on it before the event kind of thing, and done a before the event. You know what I mean? So that's where it is. It's coming along. I do have all of them. I do plan on stitching all of them, but as I've said before, I'm not going to start any of the other seasons until this one is finished. Okay, next. I am going to show you this one on the iPad. You can kind of tell at this point what it's going to be and what it's going to look like, but I'm going to show you. So the next one was something that was either a gift to you or you're giving as a gift. And I interpreted that slightly differently. This is a free pattern. So I looked at it as a gift from the designer. And this is, I'm calling it Give Thanks Turkey. I don't know if it actually has an official name. Let me see. No, it doesn't really say it does. It's from Tiny Modernist. I believe it's still there. And I am not stitching the word Give Thanks. I am just doing the turkey. I have plans for like a turkey tree. Little turkey ornaments, and so I want to kind of have little turkey ornaments going at all times. This is 18 count. It was a scrap of coffee tea dyed fabric that I had done myself a couple years ago. I have quite a bit still left of it, so sometimes I just pull it out when I find the project that would work good on it, and I thought this turkey, with all of its bright colors, that would be really nice against it. So for this, I ended up doing both of these feathers right here. For Whip Frenzy. And at this point, I have one more set on each side. I have his little body, his little legs, and we're good. So this one is obviously slated for a finish this year. I'd like to get it finished, hopefully maybe fully finished before Thanksgiving, and then I can put all the turkeys up together. All right, so this next one. This one makes me laugh. So this one was, the prompt was something that a friend chooses for you. So I reached out to a friend. I said, okay, and I sent a picture of my... because I was being a little bit demanding because, you know, for Bringo, I'm trying not to repeat any project. So I'm doing 25 different projects. And it looks like, because today's the 24th, I know what today's prompt is, so I obviously know what tomorrow's prompt is. So I am going to be able to do 25 different projects. So I said, here's my Bringo board so far, so I can't repeat anything. I know you've seen, you know my projects. Pick a project for me. So she picked for me Evergreen Sleigh. And then she said, I don't know if you're going to talk to me after this one, because she knows I struggle with this. And you'll probably never ask me to pick a project for you again. I am still talking to her. I find it's not necessarily that I struggle. I haven't gotten to the beads part yet, so I can't even say if I'm going to struggle with the beads or not. I struggle with the charts, to be perfectly honest with you. And I didn't do my entire thread, so there's going to be some thread hanging behind here. I struggle with the chart. and I made a working copy, but because, you know, you've got all of the back stitch, it's a tiny chart to begin with, right? The chart is about the size of the piece right here. And then you've got the back stitch over the things. And I mean, I don't have young eyes anymore. I have 55-year-old eyes. I never had good eyes to begin with, so let's be honest about that. So I just find it really difficult to read the pattern. And it's not, it's like a light kind of typeface, so it's not even like it's dark and bright and bold or whatever. So I struggle, and that's where I struggle. But I was able to finish. I'm almost done with the actual cross stitch part. I do have some green, there's like a wreath right here. After that, I might be done with the actual cross stitch. So I did the greenery up here, but I finished out the bottom of the white, and then you can see this part of the sleigh had to be done, and then greenery. There's actually blue there too. I don't know if you can tell, but there's kind of like a light blue with the white. So this friend actually almost got me completely finished with the cross stitch part of it. And I think, if I remember correctly, and I know a lot of you are experts, you back stitch next, right? And you bead last, because if you tried to back stitch and you have the beads, that would be a mess, wouldn't it? Oh, let me know if I'm wrong. I'm not sure. Somebody's going to have to make me pull this out again probably now to get this work done again, because the back stitch probably will be easy to read because it's this big bold. That's the boldest part of the entire pattern, frankly. The one thing that I found really helpful, and a big old thank you to Carla. Carla being crafty. Carla, I don't know if you remember saying this, but Carla has done quite a few Mill Hill beads. And I remember her saying in a video, now she's not sure it's 100% true 100% of the time, but in the ones that she had done, any symbol that was circular in nature, whether it was different types of circles or like there's a little circle flower or whatever, those are all beads. And any other symbols in your chart that aren't circle-ish of some way are not beads, they're cross stitch. And I looked at my chart and it is exactly right on. So that has helped me because I find the chart a little hard to read as it is. So trying to do the cross stitch, as soon as I see, oh, nope, that's a circle, I know that's a bead, has been immensely helpful. So Carla, you have super, super helped me with this and you haven't even realized it, but thank you for that. I know it may not be for every Mill Hill, but for this one, it happened to work out perfectly. And this is my first Mill Hill. So it's the regular kit. I assume this is perforated paper. I've never used it before. I guess that's what that is. And yeah, just, I don't even know. Is there a right side and a back side to perforated paper? I guess it depends on what color you want, but that's the way I went. So yeah, so I got some work on it and I'm still talking to my friends. So I guess it's a win-win right there. All right. So the next prompt was something from a magazine. And I have several pieces from a magazine, so I didn't need to start one. I decided to pull out Current Mood. And this is from Just Cross Stitch. Whoa, gosh. I hope I didn't show anything. Oh, actually, it doesn't matter. The chart's not on that side. Just Cross Stitch Spring 2024. The other side of the page is just the an ad and the actual colors. This is what it looks like. A bunch of us, I'm sure we have a hashtag and I can't think of it off the top of my head. A bunch of us started this. Every single one of us did it differently, which is awesome. I decided to go with primary colors. Think crayon art from the early 2000s to 2010s on Pinterest that you see the melted crayon. That's what I kind of went with. I haven't decided yet. So that's what I have. And I worked all in black. I have the rain done. I'm debating, if you see down here, on that grass, it's black. I'm debating on taking each color, each section of color, and doing the grass in that and having it rotate. You know, underneath her feet would be the yellow and the green and one blue, and then we come over. I wouldn't do here until, I think I'm going to wait to do all of that until I have her done. The other thing I haven't decided is there's black, and then that's kind of like a, I don't know if it's an ecru. What is it exactly? They say light gray. It doesn't really look like gray right there. But I'm going to pick probably my own kind of color because I think the DMC wasn't really working for me. And so I'm going to do something else instead. But I do think I'm going to do some sort of light gray, but I think I'll do all the black first. So I get kind of a vibe of what I want for that. Do the other color, then backstitch, and then come down here and do that. So that's the plan, really. So this is 18 count. Oh, this is, oh no, this has a tag. I was going to say this was the unknown. It's a to die for fabric without a name. So there you go. And to die for fabrics no longer hand dyes. So I guess I probably should just keep it unknown at this point. I thought that was just a good backdrop for all of the primary colors. So yeah, that's coming along nicely. I know a lot of people have finished it, but I have the plan, and I'm pleased with the plan. There is quarter stitches and things like that on that piece, but it's an 18 aida. I feel like my needle is sharp enough. I have no problems piercing it, so I'm okay with that. I'm not a huge fan of quarter stitches and the like, but I don't find it necessarily difficult to do on, why is this not here? On aida. So, oh, I was looking for something with bright orange fabric, and that's why I couldn't find this picture. I have two left. This one was something that reminds you of yours or somebody else's pet. So stick with me on this one. Obviously, the dragons in Fourth Wing are not pets. They are family. You know, the dragon and the rider are as close as any family member would be, kind of thing in the end. And I want to say, like, I know my pet, and I'm sure many of you, your pets are family. They are just treasured loved ones in your life. So I decided to pick this out because I've been working on it every week, trying to get this one done before the change over to Year of the Snake, which is why I don't think I'm going to get it. I might try this week, but I'm not sure if I'll do it. But I would like to get this part finished. Obviously, I think we've decided on just doing this part and not the border. I don't know. But my goal was to try to get the dragon finished within the Year of the Dragon. There was a hashtag Year of the Dragon, Sal. I started it right as that stitch along started, and so it'd be kind of cool if at least this part was finished. This is 18 count Phoenix from Bestitch Me, and it's done in She's So Blue purposely because I wanted her to be blue. Fierce and blue. So that's what she looks like. And I know you're saying to me, Laura, all you have to do is connect these two. And I get it. But this is bigger than you realize. I thought 2 weeks ago I would have the dragon done. And then you start stitching and you're 250 stitches in and you're kind of like, okay, I've done this little block. But I might try. I might give it a go. It's a little wide down here because they come together, but we might give it the old college try kind of thing. So that's what it looks like. That would be fun. I think it's the 29th. I have to look at the dates when we have the change of the Lunar New Year. Alrighty. And then the very last piece was for the last prompt. It worked out well that way. I was starting this piece on the 21st. Oh, yes. And so on the 22nd, the prompt was something you would take on vacation. This is good and small. So I thought this was perfect. I would take this on vacation with me because it would be a good, easy finish. And I was starting it on the 21st because that's the day that Onyx Storm came out. This is called My Honor. And if you go to Instagram, Idiris Studios, and on the description box, I will write down how you spell Idiris. Idiris Studios is their, I think Jen is the owner, is Jen's cross stitch page, and all of the charts can be found on Ko-Fi, many of which are free, or you could give. I think I was like, oh, I need to, this one means a lot. So I actually did, you can like kind of give money for charts. You don't have to, but you don't have to pay for several of the, she has a whole series of Fourth Wing ones. I'm not saying this, I'm babbling, whatever. But personal page for Jen is Wolf Down the Rabbit Hole. I think. I'm almost sure. I think I was following Jen's personal page, and then I started to see the charts from the studio, Adira Studio, and so I think I'm following them both now, both pages. But anyway, I had to stitch this. I don't necessarily want to give things away. If you have read Fourth Wing, you know what it means. I stitched it red in honor of the red dragon that this writer bonded with. And it said that the dragon was red with golden eyes. Now, I looked at two things. I looked at red fabric, and I was pulling out what I thought kind of like golden thread. But because this was a word piece, it was bothering my eyes, to be honest with you, that I felt like the switch was better to have something that was a bit more golden for the fabric and keep the thread red. I used Crimson Rose from Stitchy Stuff Co. It's very lightly variegated, and depending on the light, you can see that. And the fabric is 18 count Honey Amber by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I started it on the 21st while I was waiting for my book. My book did not come from Amazon until almost 5 o'clock. So I worked on Celtic Dragon, which you already saw, and this, and then I put that away and I said, I'm starting this. And I got probably halfway through on this. The book came, put it aside. And then when I finished the book, I finished this the next day. So I have plans for all of my Fourth Wing. Well, I have 2 different separate plans, and I don't know which plan I'm going with. So I don't know how I'm fully finishing these pieces yet. So we will see. But that one's a start and a finish. Yay! And that is my stitching. Yay! Alrighty. And I'm not surprised it took me that long to talk about the stitching, because there was a lot of pieces there. Plans. I do want to talk about this weekend. And so I assume you could probably still sign up. Lisa, I hope so. If you're watching this Friday, well, it's Friday in the US. This is an Australian event. Where is my pictures, my photos? And it is the Great Australian Cross Stitch Shindig. Now the dates here are 26th and 27th. That's Australian. So it's Saturday and Sunday, the 25th and 26th US. And there are classes. Flosstube, Australian Flosstubers are also hosting different hours, and it's all on Zoom. It's $10 Australian, which equals $7 US, and you get, I think there's 6 designers that donated free charts. And so with that, you get the free charts as well as the classes and the Zooms, meeting the Flosstubers. I'm excited because I follow some Australian Flosstubers, but it'd be sure fun to follow some more. And I just like, meeting people. And so it'd be a lot of fun to meet a lot of people, well, all over the world. So if you're interested, it is the Great Australian Cross Stitch, Shindig. If you go to Paddock, Paddock, Paddock Lane Designs, that's where you can buy the tickets. Okay, so I'm doing that. That is part of my weekend. A good portion of my weekend. Then, and Mo is pickleballing because I said I am unavailable, and he has found some pickleball slots because it's cold, so he has to wait indoor. You can only, only so many people can sign up, but he's got pickleball Saturday and Sunday. He's excited. I want to finish my I Spy, so I have to do something wintry, which I'll probably work on the 25th, because the 25th of each month, I want to start to bring out some of my Christmas pieces, and I want to start a Shannon Christine Little on that day. And then obviously Black Roses for the opposites. I have to finish Bringo. So yesterday's prompt I didn't show you. I'll show you that next week. Today's prompt is something to do with your zodiac sign. And then whatever tomorrow's prompt is, I can't remember what it is. Obviously, we know it already. So I have a few more of those as well. And then I have been really kind of thinking about my artist trading cards. So I want to start kind of digging into those as well. Speaking of artist trading cards, I thought the one thing I would like to do is sometimes people, let me know they ship it, and then they're worried about whether or not it comes. I don't have the one that came first already. So if you recognize, if you were the one that sent it early, and there was the washi tape on the back cover and your envelope, I did get yours. If you want to ask, that's fine too. I'm not going to say full names. Pam M, yours came in. Gail A, I've received yours. And then Sandy, yours has made it across the pond. Yay! So it's here. So those have come in as well. Hopefully that will be more helpful so that you know that it has come to me and it has gotten here safely. Because sometimes a time or two they did not get to me, and then a time or two it hasn't gotten to other people. Canadian friends, I have been working very closely with a friend in Canada for the mail, and she has been watching, and things haven't, you know, if I ship something now, would you get it 2 months from now, and would it sit in a warehouse? So she is doing a couple of practice runs, and we're getting closer and closer to where if I ship it, you'll get it in a more timely fashion. If I had shipped it 3 weeks ago, it has sat for a while, I think. So I'm really trying to keep your items safe for you and not have them sit in some mail depot and then maybe get lost. So my Canadian friends from the last swap, I still have your swaps ready to go. They're in envelopes, they're sealed, they're ready. It's just a matter of, you know, when I feel comfortable sending them to you. All right, that is that. Shopping, all I have, big surprise, I have fabric, but we have the fabric of the month from Fabrics by Stephanie. So if you do not want to see it, if you're in Stephanie's fabric of the month, look away. This is, I get the 18 count, and Stephanie just has one, you just get whatever you get kind of thing. And some of them will be new colors, and some of them are colors that are in her line. Look away. I'm going to show you the name of it first. This is one of my favorite colors from Stephanie. So the fact that I now have another piece of it is phenomenal, and I'm super excited because I would order that anyway. So it's perfect. All right, I've put that down. And then Bestitch Me, Brandy, had a ready to ship event, and custom ordering from Bestitch Me, her fabrics are beautiful. You know that. I love her. I use her fabrics a lot. Custom ordering for her is a commitment. Excuse me, I forgot to make tea this morning. It's like 3 months, right? Excuse me. I kind of swallowed and breathed at the same time, and that didn't work. So when she is ready to ship, I usually jump in and I try to get some. And these were kind of cool colors I do not have. Excuse me. So that worked even better. No blues. I have no blues to show you. Are you proud of me? I don't know if she had any blues available. This one is, I think, a newer color. It's called Toe Beans. Oh, it's gonna, there we go. Isn't that pretty? It's gonna wash out if I bring it closer. They're all 18 count, of course. I don't have a lot of pinks. It's of my colors, my least amount, pinks and reds. There you go. So there's that one. This one's called Blossom. This one's a bit of a brighter pink, brighter, deeper pink. And bring it up close just to show you. And then this is the one, I think this is new, and I think a lot of people pick this one up because it's so cool. It's called Merlot. Look at that. That is very, very cool. Somebody said to me they might stitch Dracula from Lena Ova on this, and wouldn't that be phenomenal? Oh my gosh, that would be so nice. If I had gotten this in, maybe I would have thought about using this red versus the other one I had for my honor piece, but I like how it worked out, so I think it'd be fine. So that's my shopping. That's it. I think the Bestitch Me fabric of the month is on its way, and I don't remember with Under the Sea if we've gotten a shipping notice yet. I don't think so. So that's that. And I don't necessarily think I have anything else coming. There might be a small little chart or two that I might pick up for the trading card swaps, but I'm going to see what I have first, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, so if that's all you want to hear about, if you don't care about life stuff, then I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you next time. Life, nothing super exciting this week. It's been cold. I've been holding up in the house. Monday morning at 7:30, I had a dentist appointment. What was I thinking? Of course, 6 months from now, I have another one on a Monday morning at 7:30. So clearly I don't learn my lesson. But it was, you know, that was Sunday. There was a little bit of potential storm and snow, especially more up north where we have family. Down here at the beaches, we did not get anything. Although my dental hygienist said she had sleet. And so she took her almost an hour to get her car, warmed up and all the sleet off of it before coming to work. Now, not that long, but quite some time. But anyway, I had my dentist appointment. New hygienist because mine retired. She's very sweet. Ironically, went to college in Connecticut, so we had something to talk about. And she is very crafty. She does a whole bunch of things, but she has cross stitch. So I was like, oh, look at that. We have all sorts of things in common. She learned cross stitch from her mom. Anyway, so teeth are good. We're good until July on that one. And then it was funny because the dentist came in, and they do their little thing and look at you. And he's like, so what are you going to do for today? Because, it's 8:15 in the morning. I said, I'm going home and I'm staying in the house because our temperatures were not getting above the teens here in Delaware. And today, I think we might get up to 30. Actually, no. Yes, we were 30 yesterday. So maybe even a little bit higher than 30. We might hit freezing today. Can you imagine? And of course, it's always windy here down by the... I'm not by the shore. I'm 10 minutes away from the beach, but then down that way, if I took the road down that way, there's part of a bay. And so this area is just a windy area. It's kind of a wind tunnel. So of course, every time I've stepped a foot outside, the wind has gusted up. So I have pretty much been a hermit this week, which was great because that leads me into, on Tuesday, was the release of Onyx Storm from Rebecca Yarros. This is book 3 in the Fourth Wing series. And if anybody has seen me before, you know I am a huge fan, and I was very much looking forward to getting this book. I started reading it. I had a plan, super easy plan for dinner. I got it all set, and I think I had just started reading a little bit, and I said, no, let's eat dinner first. Got that done, ate dinner, and then read till I think it was about 11. Gone are the days when I could sit and read all night. I used to as a kid, but just when I was younger, I could sit and read a book 2, 3, 4, whatever, and something like this, I probably would have read it in an entire sitting and stayed up all night. But those days are gone. So I did go to sleep and got up the next day, and then it was freezing again. I was not stepping foot outside, and I had set aside this time. I was like, I knew this book was coming. I knew I wanted to read it, and I just read, and I finished it on the next day. I'm not going to give any spoilers. So much happens in this book. So let's just give the regular warnings. The front of the book does give trigger warnings. So if you want to see that, it's war, right? They're in a war college to begin with, and then they go to war. So there's violence, different types of violence against animals because there's dragons, and against people. So if that is something that is not something you want to read about, that would be a warning there. Language-wise, there's some salty language. Not a ton, to be honest with you. I don't find in these books a lot of salty language in the books, but there is some. I'm not going to say there's none. And then there's always, the spicy level. I would say it's maybe not quite as spicy as Iron Flame, which had, its quintessential scenes. I'm sure anybody can say 1 or 2 words and everybody knows what scene that was in the book. But there is some sexual activity in this book as well. So if that is something that you just feel uncomfortable reading or do not want to read, just to take note of that. Now, it happens in parts of the story where it's not for the sake of it. These are 23 and 21-year-old couple who are in war and so on and so forth. So it works within the stream of the story. You could easily skip over those parts if that was something you were not interested in, but there's a lot more to the book than just that. So I don't mind them regardless, to be honest with you, whether the spice level is 1 or 5. I read the book to read the book if I enjoy the author and so on and the story. But in this case, they are more kind of woven into the story without just being there for the sake of being there. So take that however you want to take it. I need to reread this. There is so much information, and I haven't even wrapped my brain around it. I do listen to the Fantasy Fangirls podcast, and they will be starting a deep dive on this on February 3rd. There's excessive amounts of language in that. you will hear a lot of the F word specifically. So I always give that, it's rated R. And they say that at the very beginning, it is a rated R podcast. If that is not something you want to hear, do not listen to their podcasts. But they go very deep dives into these books. And I'm so here for it because I need things explained to me. I know if I'm going to read this a time or two again, I'm still not quite going to get everything. So if anybody's read it and wants to talk about it and can just mind blown about it with me, let me know. You know, we can either do back and forth with a text, like a DM or something or other, or if you want to Zoom, I'll Zoom, stitch, and talk Onyx Storm with you because I adored this book. I'm mush about it. I can't quite wrap my brain about it, but I just don't even know there's 2 more books in the series, and I can't wait to see where she goes with the rest of the story. So I would highly recommend it, but you have to like dragons, you have to like that kind of fantasy world building, and obviously all of the trigger warning kind of caveats that go with all of that. So that was my 2 days of my week this week, and my stitching was a lot less, and it was just dragon stitching. So anyway, like I said, I can't wait to hear what more of you think about this book. So curious. And other than that, you know, it's cold. There's just not a lot I'm doing. Until it warms up, that's just the way it's going to be. So that's about it. I guess that's all I have to talk about. I hope you're well. I hope you are safe. There's stuff going around, so please take care of yourself. And as always, remember, you matter. You are important. I can't remember where it was, but somebody had kind of written, not necessarily a poem, but a small kind of piece to think about. And that it basically said the same thing, that you are important and that you matter. And that by doing things that bring you joy, that is something that's super important, you know. And many times people will put others before themselves, but you have to take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. So it's always super important. So please remember that you do matter, and all of you matters, and you are special. So until next time, happy stitching.